Welcome to Job Skills Share. This is the IT Lab Talk Part 4 for Network Plus Lab. And if you don't know the history behind these labs and how we started this and what we do, make sure you watch the first video by going to youtube.com, subscribe to this channel, search for Job Skills Share and look at the first video and listen to it, because it's going to be important if you're thinking what we are covering and why we are doing this lab. So last time we left at installing here troubleshooting and troubleshooting internet connection and DNS issues. In this lab we will discuss install and configure DHCP and DNS. This is probably, I would say, the most, if you're going to be talking about the core networking and the core learning when it comes to IT, this is the top interview questions you're going to get in networking positions, even in help desk and system admin and any IT positions. They're going to want to know that, do you know the difference between DHCP addresses, DHCP, what it is, how are we using this, DNS, static IP addresses, and not just that, not just interviews. You are going to be working on this stuff hands-on for many projects that you're going to come across. Even if it's a site, maybe you're a system admin one day and you're working on a website, you're deploying a site, you need to know both. Then you need to know how to get the DNS addresses, how to get the DHCP stuff working with the websites and stuff like that. How to write an A record, how to create an A record. Here's an example. A lot of people own Cloudflare, they're using these cloud technologies, and in Cloudflare, using the A record, how do you point this back to your server and things like that. You are going to be dealing with this stuff. This is a hands-on stuff. So this lab is extremely important. As you can see, you have a full lab for it by installing and configuring a DHCP and also installing and configuring DNS. And basically you will do, most of the time you are going to be working in a real world environment where you're going to have tools like this, like the one that I'm basically showing you as right now. You will click on tools over here. Let's click on that, and then you will go to your DNS right here, and then in DNS you are going to be working on things like like for example, we have plab DC01. This is a DNS for this server, and then you will be working on, let's say, forward lookup zones, and then this is a practicelabs.com, and then you will be able to create a host like that. You will type in IP address. Let's say, for example, I'm going to call this a dev. This is my site name. Then you will know how to find IP addresses. You will type the IP addresses here. I'm just putting something, and then you will create the records like that. And this is going to be a normal call for you as a system admin or a network engineer, network administrator, that can you assign this IP address to this specific site, or maybe can you create one for us? And that's going to be it. That's why you need it. And like I say, this is very important. You are going to get these calls, these questions in interview. Explain DNS, explain DHCP, stuff like that. Introduction to software as service. A lot of people are using this. Many people are using Office 365, as you know that, using OneDrive for document storage, using OneDrive for document sharing. This is something that most of the time I would say help desk is involved in it, but in initial time when you're deploying this stuff and you're coming up with the full deployments for Office 365, or maybe you're working in a company where you're a consultant, or you're a type of let's say a technician that is helping other companies with this stuff, with this OneDrive stuff, with this software as a service type of things, maybe Google Drive and stuff like that, and Dropbox, and that's where you're going to be involved a lot, and you're going to be working on these type of things. Detecting system bottlenecks and log management, another important piece as a network administrator or network engineer. Not many help desk will be doing this kind of stuff. When it comes to logs, when it comes to monitoring, this is usually a task that's assigned to a networking team or a system admin. Mostly you're doing a lot of log stuff, and it depends what type of systems you're working on. If it's a networking equipment, of course it's going to be networking guys. If it's a system admin side, it's going to be the system admin side. So there's a scenario given to you. Also given a scenario, you use appropriate documentation and diagrams to manage the network, as you can see right here. And then you have a lot of of different type of scenarios that you can look into it, and then think of yourself, like if somebody asks you an interview questions related to events or logs or patching, then you should be able to realize just kind of like think of this lab and how you're going to present this lab. Then as you can see, but after completing this lab, you'll be able to do a lot of these things right here. As you can see, performance monitor, counter for a physical disk, data presentation format. This is a little advanced, I would say, but you should do it. So going back, the another one that is going to be I guess this is probably another big one, because whenever it comes to troubleshooting things, that it becomes a pretty big thing. So troubleshoot network connectivity with network utilities. Again, you're seeing the same things that we have discussed in A+, IP config. Here's a little bit different than A+. Now it's more like going towards networking. Now this is something that you use: route, TCP dump, nmap. These are the things that you're working for in a network and a system admin areas, where now you're looking at a little bit more than just desktop. You need to look at the whole connections between 2 or 3 different devices and see where the problem is. You need to know that which one is not working, or maybe there's one port working, another port is not working, stuff like that. You need to learn these type of commands, and a perfect opportunity for you to come to this lab and do that, and do it hands-on to learn these commands and what they can do for you. If we go down to VPN Technologies and Services, hey, VPN, I don't know, I mean, I have many YouTube videos, and where a lot of people will come and say, hey, I really like this VPN video because this really helped me in my interview. Someone asked me about what can you tell us about a VPN, and this is your chance right here to install a VPN server. We're not talking about just connecting like a piece of software to a server that you don't even know. This is where you have a chance now to actually build a VPN server, configure it, and then use the anything that we use in PPTP, L2TP, IPsec. These are the ones that people are using it these days. And now you can see the learning is right here. You're going to learn all this stuff, and by completing this lab, you will be able to install routing and remote access, configure the system settings, routing, remote access server, and this is a pretty advanced things going on right here. I would say for a help desk title, no, you're not going to be doing this stuff. Most of the time, the help desk gets a client from your server administration or networking team, like for example AnyConnect for Cisco, or people would create that for you. Then you get the client, and any members that call you, or staff members, or anyone that you deal with, they call you, and you just put that on their machines and connect them by using certain websites or IP addresses. Here you're actually doing that for yourself. You're actually deploying the full VPN for yourself to learn this from the back end. Now you're going to be that person actually deploying it. So this is where you need to know about VPN, because it's extremely important, like I said, for interview and for you to this is something that you're going to be also working on daily basis, because most of your clients or staff members are now doing telecommunication, telecommute from their homes and stuff like that. A lot of people have even companies that they're just doing remote stuff, and sometimes they need to log into the servers, things like that. So you really need to know about VPN. Install and configure network balancing. Now, network balancing, I would say this is kind of like network administrator and system administrator. It could be also a network engineer, but I have not seen a help desk person configuring a load balancing for a company, so let's take that out. But you can learn that. Of course, like anything over here, is you don't need any title for yourself to actually apply these skills and learn it. A lot of time people will be using different type of network balancing. Now this is something that is a very it depends on what your company is gonna go for. Like for example, if somebody's on Cloudflare have its own network balancing ability. So if I type just Cloudflare network, just network balance, just type that in there. So you see, if I click on this, you can see right here they have this traffic, and here you can actually do the traffic control. I believe that they have their own network balancer now. For some reason I'm probably missing that. right here, load balancing logs, and you can see there's a load balancer right here, S2, and then they have, like, different load balancers right here, and you can do that on a Cloudflare. But that's just an example. You can use like a Microsoft Windows Server for load balances. They have their own ability of doing that stuff. There's some really cool ones, N10, I forgot the name. There are many. So you will have ability to actually configure a whole load balancer, and then you will be working on these kind of things hands-on and learn what it means by what do you mean by load balancing. You will understand that by introduction, lab topology, and then after that you will do it hands-on, and then if somebody asks you in a question, have you have an experience of doing something with load balancing, you can actually talk about this lab. So in this video, I hope this is kind of like a basic things that we have covered. Of course, you really need to get into these labs and learn it now hands-on, and hopefully these videos we're going to be finishing these soon to move on to other labs like Security Plus and stuff like that.